So we're into Champ Select here. M3 on the blue side here for our first game. They'll ban out Kasten as their first one. And OMG over on the red side, they'll ban out Rek'Sai.
Yeah, not surprised to see Rek'Sai being taken away just time after time, showing how strong that jungle is. Kasten, that's targeted at 2 people, of course. Cool and Go-Going can both play that, so I like getting it off the board. Just has such a high potency at this point.
Yeah, Lissandra banned up there as well for M3. Azir going to go there into the ban pool for OMG. And one of the interesting things about OMG recently is that they like a lot of double AP, so a lot of mages getting targeted here.
Yeah, certainly have. And I guess the Azir ban is the interesting one because Dade's had mixed success. Pulled it out the first time, I wasn't impressed, and then next time came through and absolutely wrecked house with it. So I guess having mixed results, want to get it off the board, and wow, a lot of respect being given away to the mages. LeBlanc off the board as well.
Yeah, when we talked about the matchup being Dade Cool is probably the one to watch here. LeBlanc ban is the last one, and Java in the last there for OMG, so lots of bans pointed at Cool. I guess a couple go going as well, but that mid lane is looking pretty interesting right now for picks, and there's a first pick Janna for M3.
Wow, so completely ambiguous with this draft. Just getting some strong disengage, a very good lane support, can also roam okay, not the best roaming support, but have seen it used to effect. So M3 looking to take this, I guess, very, very slow and try and build a team comp to what OMG are putting together.
And that's maybe for both these teams, one of their weaker points in general has been their drafting. We mentioned OMG in-game, they look great, but their drafts sometimes are a little bit questionable. M3 as well haven't quite got everything together. And for a lot of teams that are still getting that synergy going, that really translates in a lot of drafting.
Yeah, certainly. And wow, a Tristana as well as a Rumble locked in. So some good early game pressure coming out of the Rumble around these Dragon Fights, and a very good late game insurance policy. Uzi plays a terrific Tristana.
Yeah, we've seen Snake do this a lot. They love giving Flange Rumble and giving Crystal Tristana. So playing, kind of using Rumble to bridge the mid game for Tristana's power trough and then going off when Trist gets farm. I think this is actually the first time Uzi's ever played Trist in this season of the LPL, so that'll be fun to watch. Of course, M3 got some picks to make now as well. We'll see what they want to go with.
Yeah, of course, Uzi did play Tristana so much at Worlds when it was extremely popular. Would be surprised if the response was a Civic, it's just can't go head-to-head. And wow, the Vi surprises the heck out of me. That's nearly a solo queue pickup.
Yeah, it's something very different here. Ro probably taking the Vi into the jungle. Sivir there for Candy as well. So picking into that Triss, which as you mentioned, can be a bit awkward when it comes to farming because Triss has a relatively easy time against Sivir.
Yeah, definitely. And wow, I'm just looking at OMG's draft. This is looking much better. Pick up the Morgana to get rid of that the Assault and Battery that can come through from Vi. Grab Loveland, the Rengar as well for some pick potential in this mid game. They look like they're really counted exactly what M3 want to do so far. They've got good poke, good long range, and then some good engage coming through with that Rengar. So it's going to be interesting to see what they respond with on M3 side. Looks like it's going to be potentially...
That would be pretty cool, but we'll see what happens here. Lupa is definitely throwing us for a loop every now and then, playing some pretty curious champions in the top lane, but going to keep it standard. Actually, really big champions for both the M3 solo laners. It is Zed for Dade and Maokai for Lupa.
Yeah, and now I'm really questioning where the damage is coming through on this lineup. Sivir, not known for insane late game damage. Even Dade Zed, not known for great late game damage. Like, once you start picking up these items like Zhonya's, like the Mikhails and the... QSS that are going to come through, he's just not going to have a target to assassinate. On the side of OMG, however, you've got the persistent damage that's going to come out from Rumble, some good mid-game spike that comes out of Lulu, and then just the late-game beast at Tristana. OMG have put together a terrific draft.
Yeah, let's hold on a little bit. Last pick, Lulu for Cool. I mean, we talk about his champion pool being deep. It really is, but this is a very different style of comp from OMG. We've seen, again, the tri-carry style from OMG where they just go in with all of their strong laners and just win team fights outright. But this is very much a protect the Uzi comp.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they can use the Lulu in a couple of different ways. Speed up the Rengar to get him into the fight, look for that pick, maybe even pop people up if it's favorable, or otherwise just chuck all the shields onto Uzi and let him do work late game. So I like the way that that's come through. If you're going to play Razor Puppy comp, why not with the original Puppy, like get through and get him going. But yeah, it definitely is back to something that we haven't seen out of OMG yet.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if this is something that OMG do more of or simply have as a weapon in their arsenal. OMG as a team kind of came onto the scene way back when they first started playing in China and won so many matches by, the freight train. They just used a bunch of ultis, went in massive AoE, and that's all they did for maybe a season or two. Then they started developing more elements to their play. lots of stuff happened, like Jungle Yorick was around and all this sort of thing. So OMG kind of started again with the tri-carry style in this new lineup and now moving to something a little bit different as well.
Yeah, and if this is just a card they can pull out every now and again, what an impressive card it would be, because it takes a lot of coordination to get one carry that far ahead that he can do enough work to make up for a whole team. But if anyone can do it, I definitely think that it would be cool.
Yeah, and I just like the draft in general. Lulu is actually a pick we might see more of, especially with all these assassins running around.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Lulu pickup. It's just one of those things that shuts down Zed in so many different ways, has a lot of polymorph, and has the ability to, as with the wild growth.
All right, with that, let's get into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our last game of the day as we are onto the Rift for the first game between M3 and OMG. This will be quite an interesting series to close out our second day of week 3 here of the LPL coverage. And we see Loveling and Rowe just hanging out. Looks like OMG is going to set up and check their entrances to start things off, so very passive.
Yeah, it looks like actually they've grouped up a little bit on the side of M3, looking for a way in, but Loveling just having a little bit of a dance, not going to let anyone into his jungle.
Yeah, and OMG playing very safe here. Just kind of moving out and defending all of their entrances. Again, it's kind of interesting to see if OMG want to opt in for a lane swap. They've got plenty of options there as well. But I think Uzi, like he almost always does with any lane, is more than happy to 2v2.
Oh, yeah, they definitely wouldn't mind the 2v2 this time around. He can just farm quite safely. Will be shoved in repetitively, which Tristana just loves. Can CS under turret, quite fun. And, of course, with that Black Shear going to come through, going to be difficult to gank.
Yeah, it looks like Blue Star might be the course here for M3's Jungler Row. And on the other side, Loveling's going to be going red by the looks of things. So, bit of a difference here. Both junglers will start on the same side, so they'll end up in towards the bottom half of the map when they do finish their initial clears, although OMG might be setting up for a late invade as well.
Yeah, it looks like they are setting up for that late invade, and they've sent Uzi up there to freeze by himself. So they're waiting for this ward to die, and then they'll go as fast as possible to try and cut them off at the blue. Actually, didn't even wait for the ward to die, so that's been scoped out. They know exactly what's going on. Immediately, the bottom lane of M3 have moved up to get the freeze.
Yeah, so smart response. They know what they have to do. Rowe and Loop will actually just take the wolf camp away and move in towards the other side of the jungle. Lowe actually going to find them out, going to harass him a little bit, maybe steal the wolf. He does get it actually with the Dark Binding, but not a bad study. They should just trade double buffs.
Yeah, we'll be able to just, once again, look at exactly where Love CD is over there on Janna. Setting up a perfect, I guess, little bit of vision just to make sure the blue stays unharassed. Also gives some solo experience over to Candy on Sivir. So that's a nice way to start it off. And really nothing surprising coming out here.
No, I mean, I think OMG are happy with the lane swap again. It's a lot safer this way to get Uzi's initial farm going, and they're going to take over the top half of the map because that's what they need to, keep Uzi safe for the first 10-15 minutes of the laning phase.
Yeah, and when you're only running like one big late game threat like Tristana, whilst you could take it into a duo lane, why not just make sure that he has that safety of being up in the top lane by himself, able to free farm, get as much CS as possible, and wow, an early dragon actually being started
now,
up.
This is a response we don't see very much of at all here. M3 actually going to start the dragon off very early at 3 minutes, and last time we saw a 3-minute dragon, it was Energy Pacemaker cheesing it up with Sion Lee Sin, but this is a really solid 3-man dragon, and OMG is just going to not even know this is done.
Yeah, the reason they can do this is because of how good Vi's W is of taking neutral objectives, able to get a lot of that percentage damage in, gets it chunked down, and the shields that came through from Janna and Vi just made it a little bit even easier.
And OMG just seed the bottom half of the map. They don't want it at all. M3 are even going to get the blue buff after their dragon, which is absolutely insane when it comes to buff control. So OMG, looking good getting their first lane swap, but M3 way ahead now on the jungle.
Yeah, certainly. And that extra Duran's Blade worth damage for Dade as well as Sivir just means so much more in these early fights. Means they might actually be able to go even in what are very negative lanes.
Yeah, other than that, though, just being able to say, hey, we know when the next dragon timer is. It's going to be around the normal timer of an early first dragon that we see in most of these games. So a really good strategic edge. Low is going to get the bad news, it seems like, as he wanders down. But OMG really don't have an accurate timer for this dragon.
Yeah, definitely not. I guess the interesting thing now is if M3 can get ahead, that 5th dragon is accelerated so much just by how early that first one was taken in. Uzi needs to be careful that his wave doesn't hit that turret and reverse extremely quickly into the favor of Looper, who now is going back into this top lane.
Gogoing going to join here is also Candy. He's going to try and keep the wave here as well. Wants to maintain the freeze if he can, but Gogoing is going to make that a little problematic for him.
Yeah, pressure on the jungles now to get into their respective lanes and force the freeze to stop. Loveling is the first person to make the move. He's going down there to help out.
Yep, going to see what he can get done here on Rengar. Actually waiting in the bush right now. Maybe even thinking about a dive here into Candy. Be a little bit tricky to get a Sivir with both summoners and a spell shield ready, but they might give it a go.
Yeah, it certainly looks like they are going to give it a go. I agree that this is going to be difficult, but there it is.
Yeah, Candy pops the heal low, the exhaust down as well. Loveling right on top of him, maybe not that hard. Loveling does get the first kill with the bowler, does flash out as well, and that's real easy for OMG.
Yeah, that is a horrible misplay coming out of Looper there. Completely whiffed the Q. Loveling just able to flash away. That's a wasted teleport. First blood, and Uzi just soaking so much farm.
And I was going to mention that I really liked, again, a lot of what M3 did. The other reason was because Uzi's Power Trough doesn't really line up well to contest mid-game dragons, and M3 can get even further ahead after taking the first one so early, but that little misplay will start to cost them.
Yeah, it certainly will, and it just gets Sivir nearly 10 CS behind, which, when you look at it, is a big deal. Now rotating Sivir into the top lane. This might play even further into OMG's hands because they can just match the lane swap again if they so choose, because they've got a perfect back timer and a potential BF sword.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens out here. Kind of interesting starts for both these teams, really. Pretty even, I guess, as the gold breaks out. OMG are 600 gold ahead with their first blood, but the first dragon up for M3 is nice as well. Uzi now has broken his freeze. Candy's actually joining him here in the top lane, and we might have a 2v2 in the top now. Looks like both supports going to roam in as well.
Yeah, so it looks like they are happy to do that. Of course, the teleport is up on Go-Going, so if the swap comes back in reverse, he will be able to get there much quicker. But I think Go-Going is happy in the Looper matchup. Of course, Rumble does extremely well against the tree, able to burn him down repetitively. And whilst Looper's passive is good, won't be able to stand up to all that consistent damage.
No, it's Loveling actually quite low. Forced the ultimate out there by Cool. Looks like Dade went in for the all-in on that level 4 jungler, but Cool did manage to save him. And this is why we love seeing Lulu into Zed, and that's exactly why Cool picked the matchup.
Yeah, exactly right. It just counters so much of what Zed wants to do through the early and mid game. Means that the items don't even have to come through for it to be able to be counted. And Ruo looking for his first gank now.
They're going to go in, Go-Going in trouble there. Twisted Advance comes in. The Vault Breaker missed, though, I think, but Go-Going does flash out anyway. Maybe going to turn it around. Could pop the Flame Shooter. Overheats going back in onto Ro. He's going to force his flash up, but Looper coming back in with the damage. Go-Going overheated. Does hit him in the face, and they'll reset. Good trade there, though, by Go-Going.
Yeah, Go-Going does not know what going backwards even means. He just is like a absolute wrecking ball in that top lane, but now bottom lane when he gets going. And you're exactly right, that Vault Breaker miss, if you max it, it just is so much of your damage and not able to get a successful gank off.
Yeah, and back in the top lane, Tristana actually up 10 CS after the early level 1 action, so a nice little lead there for Uzi as well, who'll be very happy with that edge on his Tristana. Cool now in the mid as well, bullying a little bit, but not massively ahead on CS. Dade going back, has his Bilgewater Cutlass done, so he'll return to his mid lane and start to power up.
Yeah, the only problem with this Tristana lane now is that Uzi has waited an extremely long time to shop. He has about 2,000 gold in his inventory, but with how hard Sivir is going to shove, they might just be able to keep this exactly where they want it, repetitively shove into the turret with that shield coming through from Janna and take it down nice and early.
We'll see. Ro here going to start the blue buff up as well. That looks like it's going over to Dade. Go-Going level 6 now on the bottom lane as well. Bullying Looper back and forth. Does have a very minor CS lead, but nothing major. And Lowe's joined as well. Loveling towards the top. Doesn't quite go in for a gank and Love CD. Just going to ward up here again. It's very important to keep your wards vigilant when you do swap the lanes around.
Yeah, and I like the original ward that came out as well, as we have a little bit of a skirmish.
Go-Going actually going to go in. Pops the ulti. Looper could be in trouble. Takes a lot of damage and just pressured there from Rumble. Doesn't need anything more.
Yeah, exactly right. Surprised Go-Going didn't go a little bit more deeper than that. Recognized the passive was up, though, and it could have been a bit of a bait. So forcing him out of lane, that's good enough. He's going to get even more CS ahead.
Yep, no flash for Go-Going, and flash was up for Looper, so just wanted to be safe there. Realized that, you know what, my ult's not really needed right now. The next dragon is up, actually up quite soon, but they think they can delay it for, 90 seconds or whatever it is, and it's going to get him ahead. Again, not a massive lead. Rumble not the best at pushing out creeps, but he'll take it.
Yeah, and if we can just point out something on the map quite quickly, there's a very deep pink ward in the top side of OMG's jungle, scouting out exactly one of the paths that Loveling would like to tank when he's ganking. What they're trying to do is just scout out the lane gank that comes through. They recognize that they've got Uzi exactly where they want him. He's now trying to back, but they will continue to shove in. So they're just making sure that Loveling can't get up there and affect that lane.
Yeah, moves going in towards the top lane actually now as well, which is probably the safest way to back your Tristana. Also with the dragon back now as well, OMG have a good sense, despite not getting the exact timer of when that's going to be coming back up. So they're actually going to swap their duo down. Cool get blue buff as well. And they're going to reset a little bit. Yeah,
Loveling needs to be careful here. Very, very low. And they've actually sent all 5 members from M3 down into this bottom side of the map to try and take the next dragon. So if they can do this extremely quickly, they do have a numbers advantage.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. Loveling, as you noted, is all the way back in base, but M3 not quite going in for it yet. They had the exact time, and of course, taking a very early dragon around the 3.5-minute mark. But Uzi down towards the bottom, collecting even more free farm now on Tristana.
Yeah, so now they've made their move. They're going for it right now. Equalizer is just up now, teleport available, so this could be the first real scrap we see.
Yep, going wandering down as well. Candy going to take a bit of harass there from low, but M3 will group up together. They're going to look for a pick here. The altars get popped by Candy, and they kill a ward. Not quite what we expect from the Sivir ultimate.
Yeah, it definitely is not, especially when you have an assault and battery available. You would expect them to try and fly in on someone. They did have them split off with Cool stuck in that mid lane if they had have gone over the wall, but not able to get what they wanted. So looks like they'll just reset, send the top laners back to the respective top side of the map.
Yeah, going in. Looper just going to walk back again. Going pops the ulti. Looper pops his now as well, but the rumble damage is immense right now. Going through all that damage reduction. Going. Still going to run in. The overheat does come through. Flame Splitter back as well, and Looper going to get forced completely out of the lane.
Yeah, and once again, going extremely aggressive, ensuring that he continues this bully. It's going to deny even more CS and might even give his team the first dragon for them.
Yeah, and this will be a really hard dragon for M3 to lose, especially after taking the first one so aggressively in that rotation. Looper gets his back counted as well, and they are going to fight in. Dade maybe going to go in. That was very close there. Loveling slightly missmited, but Cool does bring up the first dragon now for OMG, and Love City getting chased up by Uzi as well. There's the first kill. Candy could be in trouble as Lowe's going to look in to go for the dive, but it's a little too much damage from that
Teleport
turret.
coming in.
Yeah, actually Dade going to dive in onto Cool, but he already popped the ulti. Loveling gets that kill. Rowe does assault and battery onto Luna, but going is now down as well, and just turns it onto Rowe. Now Looper moving in as well, going to go into Loveling. He's going to go down to Looper, but OMG get the dragon, and 3 for 1.
Yeah, what a fight. There's just so much coordination. I thought the teleport coming out of Looper in the back was going to be enough to maybe catch up Uzi, but he gets away with the heal and the rocket jump. And overall, a terrific team fight coming through for OMG. Really good target prioritization underneath that turret, making sure they didn't go too far, understanding their limits.
And that's exactly what we've seen from OMG all throughout the early stages of this LPL. They have looked so on point. Their team planning's immaculate. Their target selection's immaculate. And honestly, M3 giving up that first dragon, given that they had the exact timer and the assault and battery ready to go, little bit awkward.
Yeah, exactly right. And wow, going, even without an ultimate, was able to teleport in as a rumble and have more impact than what Looper's Maokai is at this stage. Just absolutely decimating Looper. And when you get ahead as a rumble, we say that rumble doesn't really need items. But there's a reason for that. If he gets items, gosh, does he do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get in the melee range. It's a little bit awkward because you're kind of squishy still, unless you have Azonias. But yeah, when you get in range with the Flame Sphere heated up, you just tear through people. Looper's already feeling that in lane, and that teleport really felt it for M3 as well. Uzi, by the way, looks like he's going for a straight Infinity Edge of the game. That is very bold.
Yeah, has just picked up the Zerka's Grief to get himself a little bit of attack speed, but after that, yeah, straight into the Infinity Edge, looking to get himself going as soon as possible. It looks like, once again, this time M3 are dodging the Uzi lane now that he's picked himself up a kill, sending Candy into the top lane.
Yeah, already maxing the rapid fire as well. Uzi. These towers are going to start to melt pretty quickly here. Love City is going to come down with the Giant Shield and try and deter the push for a little while longer, but it's not going to last particularly long.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. And in the meanwhile, they've timed this perfectly because the blue is up for M3, so they know exactly where the mid and the jungle is. So they know that they're 3 versus 2 now. They take the turret, force Looper and Love City to back off. Really nicely played.
And again, Uzi's just gotten so much farm early on, and the first kill as well. One of the 4 kills, I should say here. You see that gold did almost 1,000 gold up. Versus Candy Sivir here early on. OMG, sorry, going to rotate in and try and take out Dade. Does dodge the bullet there from the Dark Binding, but that could be a second tower very quickly.
Yeah, and we talk about Dade's headspace probably more than any other player because we know he is such a passionate, emotional player. And having 4 people run into your lane and immediately push it down is one of the most frustrating feelings in League of Legends.
Yep, and OMG with a great rotation, take an early tower. We've seen a lot of Uzi back in the day when he was on Royal Club, did a lot of fast pushing with the Caitlyn, but the OMG are changing it up. They're going to do fast pushing with the Triss now.
Yeah, they certainly look like they're going to go that way. I wouldn't be surprised if they leave the top lane alone just to get even more farm onto Rumble. No one can go with him at the moment, so let him continue to bully whoever comes up there, farm up as much as possible. If he gets an early, I guess even a Void Staff after this, he's just going to absolutely melt people.
Yeah, level 10 for Rumble there as well, so good going. Almost at level 11 for the level 2 ulti. Dade does return now. Looking up towards the top lane now. has a Brutalizer pickaxe plus the Bilgewater Cutlass, so getting going, but just components there for Dade. And actually, it's pretty early in this game, no major items yet, but OMG with a few thousand gold ahead, looking good.
Yeah, they certainly are looking good, and wow, Candy falls straight away.
Yeah, Love City could be in trouble. Great ball there from Loveling. Low going to come in as well, but they don't need it. Loveling gets that first kill. Dade going to dive in there as well, but he gets exhausted almost immediately. Going just alive there, and Dade forces his way back to the tower.
Yeah, wasn't able to get that last auto attack off that he was looking for with the Z passive, so going able to survive. Dade trying to get anything going for his team, but wow, OMG just steamrolling through this one already.
Yeah, realizing that he can't kill Cool, goes to another lane to try and make a difference, but not even that works then. OMG just in the right place at the right time for the first 15 minutes of this game. The next Dragon's coming up in a minute 45 as well, and now Cool's roaming up towards the top lane.
Yeah, and not going for the kill. He could have gone for the flank, just choosing to go for the turret. Scrap that. Gets a little bit bloodthirsty in the end.
It is cool after all. I'm not super surprised here, but OMG will take their third tower in about as many minutes it has to feel like here. M3 will defend their Looper coming in. Love City with the shield will protect it, but OMG are patient, and Uzi the whole time still getting farm. He's 30 CS ahead of Candy.
Yeah, and this guy is relentless in his love for killing minions. He just sits there and is happy to farm all day. If you don't keep a check on him, he gets ahead so quickly in lanes, and just absolutely farming up a Storm. Highest CS in the game. He's right on that 10 per minute nearly, and that's with the lane swap and all the early fighting that's happened. So, yeah, props to Uzi. He really is getting ahead of Candy here.
And, you know, Uzi maybe in his last team felt like he had to do a lot of the heavy lifting himself. OMG completely enabling him to do this. They're buying all this time. They're using Uzi's early item spikes to push down towers where it's relevant, but when it's not, distract them on the top of the map, give you all the space in the bottom lane to farm.
Yeah, exactly right. And look at Dade. He is just out of options now. He's roaming from lane to lane, just looking for anyone he can kill. He's like, I'm an assassin. Please let me do my job. But every single time, OMG have the read. They're just backing away. Well,
Righteous Glory has been completed for Looper, so can have a few more options for the next engagement, but that's kind of a macro item we see when he's not having the best of times. Rod of Ages, bit more preferable, bit more mid-game power as well, but not an option there right now for Looper instead. Other than that, no real major items. Uzi going to back with a metric ton of gold. I think his eye is done.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's 17 minutes in the game, and he's got tier 2 boots. Just let that sink in for a little bit.
It's pretty good.
That's a pretty good start to a game for any AD carry, let alone a Tristana, who's supposed to be a weak at this point in the game. And they get control over the Scuttle Crab. Dragon is back up, so with a level, I think, he's a level 11 Rumble as well at this point in the game. This team fight is over before it began. If you are M3, you do not go through OMG at this point of the game.
Yeah, Candy, I think just going to take the farm it can get. OMG going to start the Dragon up, and it will die very, very quickly there. Ro tried to go for the Smart Seal. Actually like that play. Does use his flash, but if you get the seal, it's worth it. But OMG getting their second uncontested Dragon, and M3 falling further and further behind. 4,000 gold now in the hole.
Yeah, and it's getting pretty bad pretty early. A needlessly large rod is coming out from Going as they look to maybe get a pick.
Going in actually, Dade jumping in onto Loveling. Has to be careful. Rengar is dead there as Dade gets his first kill of the match. Going there with a good ultimate there, almost trying to block off Ro. He's going to go back, and that's a great knock up there for Cole. Uzi round the side, flanking on Triss. Ro now could be in trouble. Dade jumping in onto Going, but Uzi will chase in. Dade low there does go down to Cool. Low did go down there as Morgana does fall, but now Looper in trouble. Candy joining in as well. Uzi gets exhausted, but still fighting 1v2. Gets the next kill, looking for the reset now. Gets the kill into Looper. No, gets the assist instead. Jumping forward in for Candy. Ro is very low. Candy will likely survive under his turret, but a 3-for-1 trade there for OMG.
Yeah, overall a 3-for-2, I think, with Loveling getting picked off at the very start of that fight. But wow, this Rumble's 3-0-3. Going absolutely nuts. Uzi now 2-0-1. Sees that the blue buff's off. He'll be able to grab that for himself. Maybe give it over to his jungle mid laner and go grab that top lane turret. But once again, just great understanding of exactly what they needed to do in this fight. And it looks like Candy is just going for a static shiv first up, trying to push some waves out. They just all out of shape, M3.
Yeah, and just again, draft was fine. I mean, the vibe maybe a little different. Ro didn't really use his early ultimate when he could have around that second dragon, especially after such a brilliant dragon. M3, again, kind of had a plan and fell off towards now the 15 to 20 minute mark.
Yeah, it's the little things in the games that you start noticing retrospectively, and it's like that first time when they had Vi with the silver ultimate up and they used it and got a ward. Like, things like that really do start to tick down as Dade
doesn't face check. I think he wants to. He's like, I really want these minions. but I don't want to get killed by low Uzi and Loveling, who he may suspect are waiting in this bush. Ro actually might be got on the bad air, but does find them. Uzi going to get dove on here. Low with a great binding, actually still catches Data. He really wants to kill, but Loveling will get it. Uzi so low with the Ignite, ticking down, and he does go down. So a key kill there for Data. He'll take it.
Yeah, he certainly will. Great use of that death mark to be able to get in on top of Uzi, even during that jump. Follows him through and able to put down a lot of burst damage. Picks his team up a turret, actually, so really nicely played for the mid laner.
Yeah, absolutely. Here is Loveling going to look in, maybe trying for a bowler. Pops his ult, Black Shield on top as well. Looper going to go in, going now, porting up towards the top side as well. And he's going to try and cut them off here. Love City and Ro could be in trouble. Looper tied up with the Morgana ultimate there as Cool's going in for the damage as well. That's a good ulti there from going. Ro does punch him in the face. Love CD in a whole host of trouble. Smite down there into Ro as well. OMG are trying to get every single kill. That's cool for the first one. There's the second onto Love City and Ro. Looks really short to follow. Could go with an early Zonies. Just goes in, but Loveling may be in a bit of trouble. Dade going to rejoin as well. Does get in for that kill. Good flash from Loveling. Maybe able to get him out here, but the Black Shield popping down as well. And now Cool will come in. He does have his ulti. Baits Dade in there with a wild growth. And OMG are running over M3.
Wow, that persistence from Dade ends up baiting another team member into a kill. Candy now in trouble, has to ult away.
Cool, trying to complete the ace. Can he do it? No, not quite, even with the blue buff. But OMG, we talk about it. When they fire, everybody fires.
Yeah, and wow, what a terrifying display from a League of Legends team. There is not a weak link on this side. As you said, they've got the 4 carries, and they've got a fantastic support as well. 0, 1, and 8 on Morgana. Absolutely doing fair share of heavy lifting, and M3 just don't have a response.
Yeah, Low might get lost actually in the dialogue for a lot of talk about when we think about OMG, because they've got so many star players, and you know the supports, especially with a laner like Uzi, maybe never going to get that much attention, but he has played awesome in the first 2 weeks of the LPL. Now moving into this third week as well, still looking good.
Yeah, he certainly is, and picking up a couple of diverse supports coming through with the Morg, with the counter pick for the Vi. As I said, OMG looked fantastic when they came out of draft. They picked extremely well, but being able to perform with the team comp once it's been put together is a completely another thing, and they've definitely shown that they can do that.
And you know what? I may have caught it. Oh, Uzi actually getting ulted in by Dada. Exhaust again there from Low. Perfect timing. Uzi going to jump back in. He ults him and they trade. Buster Shot gets traded for Deathmark.
Yeah, well, Dada will take that trade, but Uzi at the end of the day now looks like he's having a little bit of fun. He's picked up that pickaxe as well as a dagger. Probably going for that Zeal next time round, but yeah, just diving in there, getting a lot of damage down, and they don't even, well, Loveland's ulted. Yeah,
he's going to go into the bottom lane here, going to sneak past that. Well, Candy knows what's up, he doesn't like it at all. Love CD, going to move in, the smite comes through, teleport down as well now for Looper. Reset there on the monster, going to be attempted. Cool gets exhausted as Black Shield comes down as well. The Blinding nails Candy in the face, and M3 will disengage.
Yeah, successful disengage. After a use of a couple of ultimates there, Loveland not able to get one, but they'll all be up probably by next Dragon, so nothing major coming from that one. And once again, OMG just trying to, I guess, exert their dominance over every facet of this map.
And we just think about that last team fight, how coordinated that was. Everyone knowing what to do. A beautifully executed tower dive. Cool coming in as well to clean things up and bait Dada in. I mean, it's just ridiculous how well this team plays together.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think the early Zhonya's really threw M3 there because they were like, wow, this guy at 22 minutes has a Haunting Guys and a completed Zhonya's.
I mean, spawn it through me for a loop, and I can see all the items as Dade in a whole host of trouble. They're Loveling looks for the bowler, does find it, going in on top as Looper trying to block him off, but there's just way too much damage here, and Uzi is still way behind. Looper now getting jumped on as well. Dade off to the side, trying to find a flank. Loveling is so tanky. Uzi jumping in now as well to clean things up, and Dade, he wants it so bad, but he's not going to get it this time. Ro going to get him, and Uzi does get the kill. Candy, though, will go down as well, but he's going to get chased out as well. The binding just wide there, unfortunately, with the slows. There are so many of them. They're going to look for the dive. Flash out there for Candy. 2 for 1 OMG.
All right, one thing's for sure. Dade might know he's going to lose this game, but the other thing that's also pretty obvious is he's going to try and kill Uzi at every possible scenario. Once again, diving through the whole team to try and get on that AD carry, but was it enough? Going is just as big a threat, 6-0-5, and they'll pick up a second Dragon for themselves.
And that's the biggest thing with OMG. It's not just Uzi that's capable of carrying almost everyone from this team, especially their 3-star players. Going Cool and Uzi are more than capable just on their own by carrying a game, and when OMG carry, they seem to carry together.
Yeah, it certainly does. Beg your pardon, that was actually the 3rd Dragon as we go into this replay. So really good equalizer comes across, and Dade gets chunked out. He goes around the side to look for a flank, and at this point, M3 are trying to disengage their hardest. Going is so strong, however, and he's just chasing them down, putting out so much damage, and Uzi jumps over the back lane. And then Dade just flies in, uses both of his shadows. They throw everything they can at Uzi. Candy able to pick up that one, but from there, it's already a lost team fight. It's too little too late.
Yeah, now Candy getting it dumped up by Loveling, looking to solo out the AD carry. Binding Lance as well for Low and Cool. We'll pick up that next kill. Love City looking for the reset, but he's chunked a half already. Rowe coming in. The Equalizer will cut them off as well. Love City going down for the double there for Cool. And now Rowe getting chased out as well. Loveling going to move in and scratch the back of his neck off. Now Looper moving through. Dade jumping in onto Cool this time. He's found a new target, but he's going to get eaten alive by the Lulu. That's a triple there for Cool. Might make it a quadra. No, Morgana gets that kill, but that's a full 5 kills. OMG just get a... This is it. We're done.
Yeah, pack up the shop. They're going over to Baron now. Probably going to take that one away at 25 minutes. If you have a 10,000 gold lead and 2 dragons at this patch, it is pretty much good night. And wow, every single member, even Loveling is part of, getting in on that party now. He's 5-2-11 as well. Just a good team performance.
Yeah, we talked about Rengar's in the LPL maybe not having that much success. The one player that's been playing it incredibly pretty much since he picked it up is Loveling. And you can see why I prioritized that Lee Sin was available here, but he wanted this guy instead.
Yeah, it definitely did. Gave him that that mid-game focus that they were looking for, able to get the picks off. They've used his ultimate actually to very good effect. Only unsuccessful ultimate was in the bottom lane, and he got a Janna ultimate, the Sivir ultimate, and a couple of flashes for it.
Yeah, so M3 going to try and fight back here, and certainly hate to call the game before it's over, because M3 are still fighting here to their credit, but this is about as over as a game gets without a Nexus exploding. OMG are unbelievably far ahead.
Yeah, and they just look so well coordinated. When you have a lead like this, you can use your gold to force fights that you don't necessarily have to, but they still target prioritization, dropping their ultimates in the right place. Going is nearly killing people with the Equalizer before he's even close to them.
Yeah, now going, looking very threatening, almost level 16 on that Rumble at 26.5 minutes. Lovely, going to jump in onto Candy, goes in 1v4, an amazing amount of AoE damage goes in, and Lowe's going to follow through. A good ult there from Cool, going to knock up Candy, and Loveling's going to take that 80 carry out. Now Rowe going to get chased down as well, Bowling in place by Loveling, and there's 2 for Cool.
And wow, Loveling just so tanky at this point. Dade getting soloed out as well.
Oh my god, their Harpoon did so much damage, and there's 3 clean kills for OMG to 0 of M3.
Yeah, and another great team fight initiated from Loveling's Rengar coming through and just able to clean that one up. And it looks like this time around with the Baron minions going to be able to push into the base, potentially pick up the first inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go for it. I can't even see Uzi on my map. But you know what? Master3, they're not even going to wait for the inhibitor to get pushed down. Tap the mat and surrender 27 minutes in.
And that's an absolute League of Legends clinic. If you want to go watch how you close out a game and how you bully a lead, just isolate that. Going especially on that Rumble, had his way with everyone on the side of M3.
And I'm going to have to reconsider my opinions of OMG here. I originally wanted to call their 3 carries the Triforce, but Loveling put on another great performance as well. So I don't know what these guys are, but I guess they're just amazing.
Yeah, exactly right. They've nearly got the 5th member as well. 1-1-16 for their support player. Over the map, they just did it so well, and we'll check out a replay to see exactly how they went through it. So this is the baited turret dive. So if we roll the clip, Going gets a good teleport before this and drops it okay Equalizer and just chases through. This is 20 minutes in the game, and check out his items. He dives the turret, flashes for a kill, and they're like, all right, we got him. Zhonya's comes through, however. That is so early. They're able to get a lot of damage, and Dade comes in here, actually misses his Q, otherwise it would have been a kill, but continues to push. Dade maybe a little bit tilted at this point of the game, gets baited in, also baits in his jungle, gets them another 2 kills. People had already died at the top of the map, and from there, it was just really downhill.
I mean, just everything in that, from flashing away from the Shuriken at the last second, Zhonya's for the tower over there chasing out after killing a turret and diving through for a proxy, Cool roaming in and getting the ultimate at the perfect time. Like, team is way too good, is the best way to put it, and I don't know if M3 have an answer.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to finding out, though.
Well, we'll have to see, guys. Game 2